In 1872, two men convinced America's smartest bankers they'd found a mountain of diamonds.
Meet Philip Arnold and John Slack, two cousins from Kentucky.
With a very specific skill set, knowing just enough about mining to sound convincing. Arnold had worked a desk job at a diamond company. That's it.
In 1871, they walked into a San Francisco bank and asked to deposit a bag of
They wouldn't say where the gems came from. Obviously.
The banker naturally assumed giant secret diamond field somewhere out west.
The banker's name was George Roberts. He immediately wanted in.
Arnold and Slack played hard to get.
Which, it turns out, is an excellent sales technique.
They reluctantly agreed to let a few investors see the goods. The gems were real, by the way, bought cheap in London and Amsterdam with borrowed money.
This wasn't a con about fake diamonds. It was a con about where the diamonds were. That distinction is doing a lot of work here.
Word got out fast. Every rich man in San Francisco suddenly wanted a piece of a field nobody had seen. For weeks, they wouldn't say exactly where the field was. Not even a hint.
Nobody thought to ask why two guys with a mystery bag of gems were suddenly this popular.
The investors kept growing. And so did the names attached. One of the most powerful bankers in California put serious money in. Then came a name you've definitely heard of, the man behind a certain jewelry store on Fifth Avenue. He personally examined the stones and declared them worth a fortune.
It should be noted, he had never actually appraised uncut gems. Nobody mentioned that part at the time. An actual Civil War general joined the board.
So did a legendary newspaper editor. A company was formed. Valued at $10 million. In 1872 money.
Still, nobody outside Arnold and Slack had actually seen the field.
So the investors decided it was finally time to send someone to check. Rumors were already spreading beyond San Francisco.
Even skeptics were starting to come around.
The hype had a life of its own now.
Which is usually the exact moment nobody wants to be the one asking questions.
They picked one of the most respected mining engineers in the country. Arnold and Slack agreed to guide him. Generously. What he didn't know, they'd been to the site days earlier. With a bag of gems, they buried diamonds, scattered rubies, wedged sapphires into rock crevices. They planted an entire diamond field, by hand, overnight. He arrived at a random mesa near the Colorado-Wyoming border. He started digging and found gems everywhere. Under rocks, in anthills, practically on the surface. He was so impressed, he invested his own money on the spot.
Nobody stopped to ask why diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, stones that never naturally occur together, were...
Geology was apparently optional that day.
He reported back, "This is real. This is legitimate. Buy in."
That was exactly the confirmation everyone wanted to hear.
The report made it back to San Francisco within days. Even the most cautious investors dropped their guard.
One respected expert, standing in a field somebody else planted,
The company started finalizing paperwork immediately.
And then came the actual money.
Investors poured in $600,000.
That's north of $15 million today.
Arnold and Slack were paid out. Quietly and immediately.
$600,000? Gone, before a single diamond was ever sold.
The company's stock was about to go on public sale. Word was spreading nationally. Newspapers ran the story. Everyone wanted a piece of the American diamond rush.
And then, purely by coincidence, a government geologist happened to be surveying nearby. Keep an eye on this guy.
As far as anyone else knew, this was already a done deal.
The public offering was days away.
So really, there wasn't much time left for anyone to notice anything. Which is exactly when things fell apart.
He was 29 years old and extremely good at his job. King had actually mapped that exact region already. No diamonds. Ever. So when he heard the news, something didn't add up. He rushed to the site himself before the public stock sale could go through.
What he found? Gems in patterns that made no geological sense.
A diamond sitting directly next to a ruby in a spot that had clearly already been dug up.
At one point, he found a gem wedged into a spot where a shovel had cut a perfectly straight line.
Diamonds do not grow in straight lines.
King realized instantly. This whole field had been salted.
He rushed back and told the investors before the public offering could close. The company was shut down within days.
Philip went home to Kentucky with his share and opened an actual bank. He was later shot in an unrelated business dispute and died from complications.
Slack quietly vanished and lived the rest of his life as a...
Nobody found out until decades after his death. He never publicly explained how he missed it.
He, on the other hand, became a minor celebrity and was later appointed the first director of the U.S. Geological Survey.
So two guys with a bag of cheap gems nearly out-hustled the smartest money in America. They didn't get caught by an expert who was smarter than them. They got caught because one guy happened to be paying attention that week. And honestly, that's a little too close for comfort.
If two guys almost pulled off the hoax of the century, you can definitely hit subscribe.